Turn around. Let's go, hustle up. Come on. All right. Think defense. All right, hands in. Here we go.
Quack! Quack!
Hey! What the hell's that? Knock that off. All right. Go team on 2. Here we go. 1, 2.
Go team.
All right, come on.
You know what, Drew? Sometimes you just got to grow up, right?
Go team. Go team on 3.
Now, that was the lamest, team rally cry ever, but it's better than quack, quack. You got to, break them early.
Listen,
right?
the duck is dead. The Ducks are dead, Badway.
Ducks
Move on
are
with
dead.
it.
Move
Get
on
that
with the
jersey
Ducks.
off. The Ducks are dead. This guy's doing what he should have did. He needed to do this to break these kids' spirits, to bring them back up, to make them real hockey players, not one-trick ponies.
Yeah, I agree, and we'll get into it later.
Welcome back to the Last Row Podcast. This is episode number 50, Badway.
50.
This is a milestone on this show here. TheLastRowPodcast.com if you want us on the web, on Twitter at The Last Row Pod, Facebook.com/The Last Row Pod, Google+. Head out to iTunes. Please leave us a 5-star review. It's been a while, Badway. I feel like I haven't seen you since the last time we've done this episode, even though that is completely false.
Yeah, man. They don't have mics in front of us,
I've
right?
seen a lot of you recently, but
we should just be wearing microphones,
just
on our collars, so we can record that something.
Record our entire conversation. But we've been away. We've been bachelor parties. We've been weddings. All this kind of stuff. But we are back.
You still have a kid.
I still have a kid. She's still here. I didn't mess up badly.
Yeah.
But we're still here. I forgot to mention too, if you guys are looking to watch this movie or any of the other movies that we've done in the past, hit the affiliate code in our podcast description, either on our website or in the description of the show. It really helps our show out. And thank you. But what are we doing today, Babby? We're back.
Yeah, we're revitalizing the Mighty Duck. We're completing the trilogy with D3, the Mighty Ducks.
It all started with episode 1, Mighty Ducks 1.
Yes.
Episode 26, I think, was Mighty Ducks 2, where we really
somewhere right along there.
We really took Bombay to the woodshed.
To the woodshed, we did.
We took him to task. What will today be?
I don't know. Well, we might go a little bit easier on Bombay. We'll see.
You
might.
See
how I know you won't.
You might.
I kind of got a clear view of what Bombay really is, and we'll get into it. So D3 : the Mighty Ducks, which I like that they went with the D3. If you search for this on Google Play, for example, I watch this movie on Google Play or on Amazon. If you use our affiliate code, it'd be great.
iTunes too.
Yeah. You got to search D3 :
You can't do Mighty Ducks 3.
Well, you don't have to put the colon, but I did because I like colon.
You need the colon. Yeah. It's essential to the movie.
So
what if it was 3D? 3D, the Mighty Ducks.
3D, the Mighty Ducks.
Why did they make this movie in 3D? 1996.
96 wasn't hot with 3D.
They should have done it. They missed a really big opportunity
with the cardboard blue and red.
The cardboard glasses. D3, 3D, the Mighty Ducks.
How
3D.
The knuckle puck coming right at you?
That's what I'm saying. They missed
Fulton's
a prime
slap shot,
prime opportunity.
Right?
Roller coaster. Charlie puking on the roller coaster while he's skipping school.
Orion's paralyzed daughter, coming on the skates.
That's what I'm saying. They missed a prime opportunity for 3D.
He could have pushed her towards the camera and then oh my God, it's his daughter.
She's coming. Look out. That's what I'm saying, man. They really missed this up. Come on, Disney.
So without looking, do you know what year this movie was made?
I know.
If you were to guess,
I know that it was. I know the year, but it was 96.
Did you guess it when you were watching?
No, I just have this stupid thing where I can't remember things that matter, but I remember dumb things when a movie came out. It's Mighty Ducks 3? Yeah, 1996.
Yeah, this movie had 90s written all over it as far as the soundtrack goes, and a lot of the cheesy montages they had.
Rollerblading.
Yeah, so 1996.
Nobody rollerblades anymore.
Rollerblades anymore.
The 90s thing.
Yeah. Comedy, drama / sport is the genre. Directed by the one and only Robert Lieberman.
Excellent director.
IMDb 5.3 out of 10, which I think is a little generous.
I know we don't talk about that other site. You're going to be mad at me, but
right.
It was pretty
Synopsis.
bad. It was pretty bad on there.
Moving on. Having achieved a modicum of fame from their earlier adventures, all the members of the Mighty Ducks hockey team are awarded scholarships to a prestigious prep school.
Where's Jesse Hall at?
Not all of them.
Where's Jesse Hall at?
You're only allowed one black kid, apparently. At this prep
did.
school.
It's really messed up.
But they must now play in the school's uniforms and renounce their freewheeling style for the more disciplined approach of their new coach, Ted Orion. Good. Right?
Good.
After star player Charlie quits the team, their old coach, Gordon Bombay, must return to reinvigorate the Ducks' spirit. Hold on.
I'm shaking my head right now in disgust.
We haven't even started yet, and they're already throwing praise at Bombay. For those of you that listened to our D2 episode, we took him to the cleaners, as we said, to the woodshed. We assassinated his character.
Exposed him
for the fraud that he is. And now we're giving him credit straight out the bat here for reinvigorating the Duck spirit.
He gave one speech. I really think it was the death of Hans. Spoiler alert. Hans died. That's what really did it. The ghost of Hans. The actual ghost of Hans.
The literal ghost of Hans.
Not like they put our theory from Mighty Ducks 1 to the cleaners where they said basically Hans is a real guy. They actually interacted with him.
I guess he's real. Yeah.
But I take issue with this.
Yeah. I've softened on my stance of Bombay a little bit from D2. I still apologize nothing about D2 that we said, but moving into this area, I feel like I understand his character more, and I understand who he is. I was mad at who we thought he was, but it turns out he's not the hero we thought he was.
So he was trying to be... He was forced into a situation where he was having to be somebody that he is not.
Yeah.
A coach.
Right.
He's not a coach. He's a terrible coach.
Yeah,
really.
He's more of like their friend.
But you mentioned one guy, and if I could name this episode, man... This episode for us would be called D3: The Mighty Ducks: The Ballad of Ted Orion.
Yeah.
Because I cannot explain to you how much I love Coach Ted Orion.
So we'll get into all of it. We'll discuss Charlie. We'll discuss Orion and his coaching styles in comparison with Bombay. We'll discuss the JV/varsity rivalry. We'll discuss the big game. We'll discuss the school. But first, I want to ask you right off the bat, how did this movie hold up for you? When was the last time you saw this, you think?
They show this one the least. I feel like they show number 1 and number 2 a lot.
For good reason.
This one does not get shown a lot. It used to get shown a lot, but it does not get shown on TV. It held up very well to me. It's not a good movie in any way. It's kind of like how Ghostbusters 2 is not really good, but it's entertaining.
Good comparison.
I still think probably 2 is the best movie, but I still enjoyed this. It wasn't very good, though. I'll be the first to admit it.
Good way to put it. I enjoyed watching it. Like, I had a good time watching it, but it was cringeworthy in a lot of spots for me. It was hard to watch, and this might be the last time I ever watched that movie. Now, don't hold me to that now. It might be. Like, what am I going to watch D3 again with nothing on the line, right?
Oh, man.
Watch D2, D3.
So if you had to pick one, which one would you pick then of all of them?
2 is the best one, probably. And I know a lot of people would say 1. They hold it near.
But it doesn't have the dentist.
1, see, when we rewatched 1 for our very first episode, and I was a much younger lad back then, a good 2+ years ago, right?
49 episodes ago.
That seemed too much like a kid's movie to me. Like, I feel like I couldn't enjoy that fully unless I had like my nephew sit next to me or something like that.
Right.
2 is something you could still get a little bit out of it from a nostalgia factor as an adult.
Well, they upped the villain factor.
Yeah.
They went from a nefarious coach to this guy's trying to kill kids.
And 3, I feel like they struggled big time with acting, with the lazy story, and they went like back to like juvenile pranks to where like maybe a 12-year-old might think it's funny, but an adult is like, why am I watching this?
I agree. Yeah. I agree completely with that assessment.
Except for the fact that it's Mighty Ducks nostalgia, which can get by in so many in such spurts on its own.
So to get into where we need to be, you talked about Mighty Ducks 2 being the best one. Where are they all at right now? So where are they at in their lives?
So they are, I'm guessing, 9th graders, right?
I think I don't know if it was high school or some junior high school.
It's a prep school, but I'm assuming they're freshmen in high school, so we're gonna call them 9th graders, and they all get athletic scholarships to, what is this school called?
It's Eden Hall.
Eden Hall,
which is weird. That sounds like a dorm.
Yeah,
isn't it Eden Hall Prep School or something?
Yeah, it's
Eden
a prep
Hall
school
academy.
It's in Minnesota.
What's the difference between a prep school and an academy? Is an academy like the pinnacle of prep schools? Like, what is an academy versus a hall?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're all interchangeable. Just depends on what it's called. I don't know.
But I don't know. Like, if you're a hall, is it like a really small school, and the academy is like,
I don't know. They see that
campus?
They had horses running around there. I don't know.
I mean, they had equestrian, sporting events. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But so they got scholarships. You're saying is that?
So yeah, they all got scholarships, except for. I guess the Hall brothers couldn't make it.
What the hell happened with that, man?
Yeah.
And Portman didn't go, too, because...
Portman just bailed. He
said
like it.
He was staying in Chicago because Bombay was not going to be coaching.
Yes.
Which is... That's a cover for something else. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you.
Got arrested
Right.
because he's 32 years old.
So I had to look it up because curious minds, right? This is very rare, very well not done in high schools where they give players athletic scholarships just based on athletics
But
alone.
even for a prep school,
Yes.
are you? I
Private
never
school.
knew this, so I don't know this.
Even a private school, this is not done very often, especially a whole team, right? So this is rare. So there's a lot of whispers going around. A lot of the naysayers to the Ducks in this movie call this a publicity stunt, and I believe this is exactly what it was.
And it was because the guy kind of acknowledged it. It was like, hey, how can we build our school up a little bit? Let's get Team USA, the USA Ducks, as they call themselves, back to the school. Let's build it up a little bit, build up our JV team. But because of that, kids that were actually on the team got denied a spot.
Right, exactly.
What's up with that?
Some deserving kids whose parents probably donated very generously to the school in the past. And I know nepotism rears his ugly head, and this and that, but hey, the rich get richer. For example, the team captain of the varsity squad, his little brother got knocked out
Right.
for this stupid Ducks team.
I mean, the kid was probably a jerk anyway.
Well, sure, but I bet he's good at hockey.
Yeah,
I bet his parents have money.
the school. That's interesting too, because think about it. The school is denying money. They're actually giving money away.
Yes.
To build up this hockey program.
Are the Ducks that famous that they're going to make money on this somehow? Or like, what are they going to gain
It reminds
from
me
their
of like the
division titles?
producers. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, let's have a really bad play. We'll make some money on it because maybe more kids will want to go. But they can't even play. They got denied a spot.
It makes sense in college. That's why it's not done in high school. You know?
I get you.
So who's back? To tell us the players. Who is
So
back?
we have Charlie Conway, the self-proclaimed captain of the
squad.
newly Warriors. You got Goldberg, the worst goalie of all time. Julie the Cat, the greatest goalie of all time. You got Fulton Reed. You got Averman, the annoying guy who actually wasn't so annoying this time. He didn't have a lot of speaking lines.
They dialed him back a little bit.
They toned down the annoying.
Yeah.
You got Ken Wu. You got Guy Germain and Connie Moreau. And you got Russ Tyler, who is Keenan from Keenan and Kel.
Yes.
And you got Luis Mendoza, still doesn't know how to stop. I don't know how this guy has a scholarship. He doesn't know how to stop. And then you got Dwayne Robertson, the Cowboy Man. Is that enough people to even field a roster?
What is that? Like, was it 12 people? I didn't count.
Yeah, I have to count it. But
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
11. I mean, I guess it's not really
Close
good,
enough.
is it?
What is it? 5 people for a line plus the goalie. So you have 2 goalies. All right, so you got like 5 bench players. If
That's
that.
pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
They've always been historically undermanned. This team.
Yeah, I mean, but how can you play a full game? You're going to be dead. Like how long are the shifts? Like
The kids got energy for days. All right.
they're under the thing doing like Monster energy drinks and stuff.
So who on this roster does not deserve an athletic scholarship just based on talent alone?
I'm gonna make it easy. Okay, I'll tell you who deserves it.
Yeah, the list for who deserves it is a lot shorter than
I'll
who
give you the
doesn't.
shorter list because it's easier. I'm gonna say Charlie Conway. Yes, he's
All right.
He's good enough.
I'm already questioning Conway, but that's fine. I'll give it to you.
His leadership skills leave a lot to be desired.
Of course.
He
Bad attitude.
he's flashy. He plays no defense, as we find out. But if we have to pick from the team,
Yeah, right.
he could make it, right?
Yeah,
He's a project player.
Sure.
He's a project player.
I'll tell you this. He's like their front line, like second best player to Banks, right?
Yeah. I forgot Banks on the list. Okay,
Well, Banks. Well, we didn't list Banks, but he's actually on varsity.
Yeah.
So he's there, but he's on the varsity squad just because he's so damn good. So Banks is their Conway is their second best player, right?
Yes. Banks is definitely the best.
So Conway's their second best player, front line, center, right? All that, right? He would be a fourth line player on a good team,
If that.
right?
He might be a
Yeah.
healthy scratch.
Yeah. And I know the Ducks are good, but we're talking about stepping up to the varsity squad.
He's a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, he's
Exactly.
like, he gets in because someone else is hurt.
Exactly. He'd kill power plays, maybe.
Yeah, that's maybe he
But he
would.
doesn't even like he doesn't like
He doesn't like
defense.
defense. He
doesn't
can't
like
play
defense.
that.
He doesn't
He
like,
can't be-
so I
You're going
scratch
to put
that.
him on the power play?
Scratch
No
that.
way, no
All right.
way.
All right, so I'll give you Conway anyway, but he's project. You're right.
I'll give you them. Okay, so if I have to pick a goalie, it's definitely not Goldberg. It's Julie the Cat, and she's still a
Yeah.
project herself. She's blaming the defense for all of the problems that
Yes.
she had.
Yeah,
but she's still the best.
Yeah, she's still the best, but you mentioned Goldberg. He is on the very first list of who doesn't get a scholarship.
Yes, the
So-
front line.
So the head jerk in this movie, Rick Riley, his
Rick
little
Riley.
brother gets bounced from the team for the Ducks, and they gave a scholarship to Goldberg. You're telling me they couldn't give a scholarship to even the 10 other Ducks and have this jerk's little brother?
Dude.
Like, why do they have to all be Ducks?
As a Flyers fan, this kid is an embarrassment that he wears the Flyers jersey. Like, get out of here.
He
with
clearly
this.
hasn't practiced since the gold medal game.
They said it.
Yeah.
They said it. They're like, oh, have you practiced? He's like, oh, no, we usually just play, for fun. It's like, are you kidding me? And again, let me go back to this. Bombay is a joke of a coach. He left Goldberg in. Julie the Cat was so much better. We talked about this at length on our other episode, so go back and listen to it, episode 26, thelastwordpodcast.com. But come on, man. This dude, that's Orion's a baller because of that alone.
And Bombay didn't give them an off-season conditioning regimen or something.
That's what I mean.
That.
Have a smoothie.
Yeah, right. Go play street hockey.
Get
Something.
a shake.
Anything.
Get a shake.
Anyway.
He was even trying to get her to eat bad food. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah. Bad teammate. So anyway, yeah, Goldberg's out. Cat's in. Yes,
Julie the Cat
I agree
is
with
in.
you with the Cat. The Cat deserves a scholarship.
She deserves it probably more than Charlie, but if you have to pick. And then clearly there's only one other person for me, and it's Banks, because he definitely would get it. Banks is the kind of guy. He's the cake eater from the other one. He's the type of kid that would go to this school.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's 100% deserves it. And he makes the varsity team after one practice, pretty much.
He's like, oh, third line center on varsity?
Yeah. See, I was like, if Banks gets third line center, then Conway's like not even on the team.
This
if
is
Banks
what I'm
is
saying,
third
man.
line, right?
He would not make it.
So no Keenan.
Keenan
right?
is not.
No, he's
very
not good enough. He's a one shot pony.
The knuckle puck does not work. We've already broke this down
Yeah.
in detail. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Fulton, absolutely not. He's still inaccurate as all hell.
He might make it because he's big. He's bigger than everybody else.
But there's no goons in high school hockey.
Right, that's true. He doesn't bring anything else to the table other than his size. His slap shot is something that everybody's got a slap shot at that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he's got a slap shot. Big deal.
Big deal. Everybody's got a slap shot.
You got a slap shot.
Yeah.
So does this guy.
Mendoza still can't skate. Kid got a scholarship.
Listen, it's like playing football if you can't run.
Yeah.
You can't run. Like you can only walk.
Yeah.
Like how could you play football?
Doesn't make any sense.
It's like being a race car driver. You can't drive.
And we do mean to bash the team, but we're talking about stepping up to another level here.
This is
right.
You got to take this seriously. This is Coach Orion here. This is not Bombay antics. This is Coach Orion.
This is tens of thousands of dollars of a prep school.
That's what I'm saying.
Given to this team that is clearly every player as a whole in their game, except for the very few.
I'm all for giving people a chance,
right.
But these kids here, man, they have been coddled their entire life.
Yeah.
They went from being crappy. I get it. The Mighty Ducks won, good for them. They won. The Hawks were just evil. They were jerks. I get it. Team USA, that's a whole nother level, man. You're on a whole nother level. This movie, get out of here.
Yeah. And so we got Ken Wu. He could do a triple axel.
Knock it off.
He's like 60 pounds. There's no way.
I love Coach Orion. Knock it off.
Knock it off.
Right away.
The Cowboy, who's actually pretty good.
He's all right. Yeah,
I might even give the scholarship to the Cowboy.
He's good at puck handling, right? Like he's a good puck handler.
Yes, he is.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Averman actually isn't so bad at puck handling himself.
Averman is a role player on their team, so he would have no role on the varsity team.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
And look, I'm not sitting here defending the varsity team. I think they're jerks too.
Yeah.
But, I just take issue with some of these guys.
Don't get me wrong. I get that like the whole is larger than the sum of its parts or whatever, right? And I get that they all have skill on some sort of level. They won the Olympic gold medal, for God's sake, right?
Right.
But I'm talking about the state of Minnesota. There's a lot of other people that they could have given the scholarship to for this very prestigious school.
Hockey state here.
This is like the top, the cream of the crop at high school hockey.
I've never heard of Eden Hall Academy, but
we're giving scholarships to this overweight kid that doesn't practice and this other kid that doesn't know how to skate.
Goldberg doesn't even care.
He has bad attitude.
He has bad attitude is right. And Portman got the scholarship, but he didn't go. Yeah. He might deserve it because he's an enforcer.
At least he's got a body.
He's got freakish size.
He can play some defense, right?
He's got freakish size.
We didn't mention Guy and Connie because they're not even on the screen. We don't even know what they do.
They weren't really good, and Connie didn't play much. Really, she didn't play much. She played once and got completely crushed. Yeah. Which is it's a safety issue. It's like a
hey, now don't tell her what she can't do. She can do it.
I'm just saying, this dude, that guy, he had no qualms with just checking her head first into the boards. These guys,
she's refs, on the ice though.
These refs were terrible, man. They didn't throw flags. They didn't call anything.
Some home cooking.
They were head hunting, man.
Yeah. You got to get the benefit of the doubt to the varsity.
They were head hunting, man. They wanted varsity to win. They're they did everything that they could to keep them from losing. It's we can't make these guys look bad. It makes our school look bad. So let's talk a little bit more about the school. Like, just they've got this thing here real quick before we jump into some of the coaching. But the school itself is manned by Dean. What's his name? Dean something? I don't know.
Just the dean.
The dean.
Who cares?
This guy's an old biology teacher of Gordon Bombay, and this is where the series jumped the shark for me. Wasn't it true before this that Gordon Bombay never played hockey again outside of his failed tryout for some AAA HL team?
They could cover their tracks by saying he exaggerated when he told Charlie that Coach Riley broke his spirit.
Coach Riley destroyed his life.
Maybe hockey was never fun for him anymore.
But he still played.
Maybe he still played.
He was like, because they showed his picture in the trophy case
Yeah,
at one point.
he's an alumnus for this school.
So he's there. My issue with this, and the reason why I bring up the school, is this dean is the worst dean of all time. This guy is even worse at being a dean than these kids are at being hockey players.
Yes.
This guy is the worst dean of all time, and he should be fired. He brought these kids in as a publicity stunt, right?
Yep.
That's the first move, right?
Right.
He did that. And then after 2 games, no, not even 2 games, one game, he revokes their scholarship out of pressure. Dude, you got to stick with your decision.
A game that they scored 9 goals in. Now, I know they gave up 9 goals, but I feel like the giving up of the goals was more of a fluke than the scoring of the goals.
And give me this. So then he tries to get rid of them. And then after, I mean, we're jumping around here like we always do.
Yeah.
Then after they get denied, and then he tried to get rid of the kids, he tried to basically kick them out of the school, say, oh, sorry, you can go to a different school after the semester. Then he has the audacity, the balls, Badway, to sit there and talk shit to this guy sitting next to him, like
one of the board members.
The board members, like, oh, I told you they were good.
Oh, it's in the bag. Told
it's
you
in
they
the
were
bag.
good.
This guy,
There's a term for a guy like this, and it's called spineless
jerk.
Yeah, weasel,
flip flopping fool.
Yes,
this guy, just get him out of here.
All right, so
enough about this guy.
Forget about the dean. All right, and I want to cycle back here because we just bashed the entire Ducks team for the most part, except for 3 players. They're pretty good. All right, I will give it to them. Like, obviously they're good as a team, but we're talking about the cream of the crop.
So how many?
I want to make that clear.
So how many people turned the show off by now? They're like, new listeners are like, oh, these guys hate these kids. So mean.
I just want to talk about. I just want to make that clear.
All right, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that's sitting here crapping on them. I do not apologize, but I can see your point. This is the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
They're not the best. Maybe they're like in the top 5%.
Yeah.
They're not in the top 1%.
They don't seem to work hard enough to be good. There's more than just being good.
I'm mad at them.
It's hard work.
Look, I'm mad at them like Coach Orion's mad at them.
Right.
I'm not mad at them because I think they're terrible players. I think I see their potential.
There is potential. They just don't work at it. Like, Mendoza could have learned to skate in the summer, right?
Somebody could teach this guy to stop.
Teach the kid how to stop in the summertime.
He stopped one time in his life.
Yeah.
At the end of the USA game.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm mad at them like I'm their father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want more from them. I want more from them.
Exactly.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sitting here saying, come on, guys. Get with it.
They got a shot.
Goldberg,
They have
stop
a shot.
eating all these pastries, man.
Lose some weight. Like, even like 20 pounds is enough. You could be
He
a
lost a
defender.
lot of weight now. Have you seen the
Defenseman.
actor now?
I did, yeah.
Guy
He
looks
weird.
He looks so weird. He looks like sickly. It's weird when you see a guy that loses a lot of weight. It's like the dude from Boy Meets World. What's his name? Not Joey, the big guy.
Frankie,
right?
Yeah,
he lost all that weight now, and he was in My Name Is Earl. It's so weird to see that.
A lot of
Good
skin.
for him.
A lot of skin.
Good for him.
Yeah. What are you, Larry David?
I'm glad that he's healthy. You know, he took charge of his life.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about Bombay for a second. We bashed him enough. I won't bash him too much more. But basically, he's not coaching this team because he accepted the job as the director of player personnel worldwide for the Junior Goodwill Games. So does that mean that he's not only Team USA, he's for Team Everybody?
He's Team Everybody. And so this is what sets off the chain reaction of Charlie being a complete jerk. The entire movie. A petulant child. He has a conversation with Bombay at the beginning of the movie where he just completely like blasts Bombay for basically deserting the Ducks, which is totally unfair because the guy's got to live, right?
He has to make money somehow.
Live. Yeah. So he turned down the job of a coach of this prep school to become the Goodwill Games ambassador, player personnel, whatever. Charlie's mad at him. Oh man, you're not going to coach us. You're leaving us. Charlie's not mad at him for not coaching him. This is my theory. My theory is Charlie's mad because he wants him to be his father. And he's going away to be the Goodwill Games ambassador or whatever. Means he can't marry his mom and be his stepdad.
Dude, he's going to bed. He can't be tied down. He's got more moms to be hooking up with.
Yeah.
Do you know how many moms he could hook up with if he's the ambassador of the entire Goodwill Games?
They're called house calls. Man.
Do you know how many mothers there are
calls.
for him to hook up with? This guy is like, he's ready. He's thirsty, man.
Let me ask you a question about Bombay's on the prowl, right? Do you think he prefers the single mom? Or do you think he prefers the married mom as more of a challenge?
No. Maybe, I don't know. You're making me think. I was like very much like, no, he wanted the single mom. Maybe the single mom has too much baggage because he has to deal with the former relationship, whereas if they're already, he could sneak around.
Yeah.
And he's moving from city to city here. It doesn't matter. Right. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care.
I think he likes the challenge.
I think he probably does.
Of picking out the housewife, the lonely housewife who's being neglected by her husband.
He went from District 2 to Team USA to now the world.
Yeah.
He's need a bigger challenge.
But he slicks that hair back like he did in D2.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Listen, he when he put the hair back, that was like the full villain move.
Yeah.
He just missing the ponytail, like we said. He needs a ponytail. You know that when he goes out at night, he's slicking that hair back, just like Wolf Sanson.
Absolutely.
He's definitely doing it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Charlie's pissed off because he doesn't want to be his dad. And I said it before, you can't force this, dude.
No.
You can't force it.
And he did go out and flat out, this is my theory, he did flat out say that, but like you could tell in his face that's what he's thinking.
Well, he had a quote, like, what is it? You don't know. This is about
This is
so much more.
This is about more than hockey. You don't understand. Like that right there, that hit me in the heartstrings a little bit. Like, oh man, he wants him to be his dad so bad. It's just not the cards, Charlie. It's not the cards.
I sat here bashing Bombay for like at least a half hour, however long we've been talking. I'm gonna go back on it. I think he realized his true calling.
Yeah.
He knew kind of a crappy coach, guys.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a bad coach.
Sure.
Let me help kids where I can help them. He's not bad at identifying certain aspects of talent. He put together some good lines. He knows how to maybe make a team or at least maybe give kids a chance, right? If there's one good thing about Bombay, it's that he found kids that he gave them a chance. Maybe they didn't have a chance otherwise. They couldn't play for the Hawks. They couldn't play for Team USA, whatever. He gave these kids a chance. Now he's going to be doing that for the world. He's got to move on. There's a better coach at Bay, man. There's a much better coach at Bay.
Oh, yeah. His name is Tom Orion.
Tom Orion.
Is it Tom?
No, it's it's
Are you gonna bust my balls over Ted?
I'm not editing that out. No way.
Ted Orion. Does it matter? Coach Orion.
Coach Tom Orion. Coach Ted Orion. I wrote it in the note.
I'm not looking at the notes. Who looks at the notes? I'm a free spirit, Drew. Fly by the seat of my pants.
The legend of Badway lives on.
As I get older.
Tell me about Ted Orion, though.
All right, before I tell you about
Not
Ted
his brother,
Orion,
Tom.
Tom and Ted, the Orion
Twins.
brothers.
What if they were twins? What if the nice coach at the end was his twin brother?
To know about Ted Orion, you got to know about Bombay and what he isn't. So we were bashing Bombay. Bombay was their friend.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He was not their coach. He became their friend, and it got in the way. Ted has no affiliation with the Ducks. He sees all of the mistakes that Bombay has made over the years of teaching these kids a lot of bad habits.
Bad habits.
They have bad attitudes because they're coddled a little bit. They got their way too much, right?
Yeah.
But the talent is there, and he wants to set the precedent that, look, I'm going to be firm but fair. I'm not going to be your friend, but I'm going to be like a father figure to you guys. I'm going to teach you life lessons, and I'm going to teach you hockey lessons, and we're going to combine the two and make a great team. That's basically what he's out to do.
You know who this guy reminds me of? One of my favorite coaches of all time. Coach Eric Taylor.
Coach Eric
from
Taylor.
Friday Night Lights. He's not your friend.
He's nobody's friend.
He's not your friend.
Yeah.
He's not your friend, son. But he will teach you life. He will mold your life. He will help you.
The nicest guy in the world, but he is not your friend.
Exactly, because his job is to not be your friend.
He is your authority figure.
He's your coach.
But damn it, you'll respect him.
And he's going to make you a better player.
And person.
Yeah. He gives the best. This guy, I can just do 2 hours on how awesome this guy is and how much I love him. But he played for the Minnesota North Stars, and they moved to Texas, to Dallas. And he didn't go with the team. We find out later in the movie Bombshell, his daughter got sideswiped when he was driving. He was driving a car, they got sideswiped, and his daughter got paralyzed. He stayed behind to take care of her. He quit his hockey career to be a father.
Yeah.
That's a good father.
Admirable. That's
a good man.
That's like a good scratching post right there. Like a good mark right there to show what kind of man he is.
He could have used the excuse of, well, I'm going to earn more money playing hockey and I could take care of her that way.
Who's to say what's right or wrong?
Right.
But
that's what I'm saying.
He took this route, which is a more personal route.
He loves his family. He loves his daughter. We don't know anything about his wife. Maybe his wife died in the car. We don't know. They never said.
Yeah, what if?
But
he might be a single dad.
That's what I mean. Like this guy, again, molder of men, good father, good coach, firm coach, not your friend.
No.
Coach Ted Orion.
Or Tom.
Or Tom. But let's go down a list. What are some of the baller moves that this guy made? I mean, I call him baller moves because he came in and he's like, these kids basically were playing rodeo on the ice like they used to play with Team USA amateur hour here. Don't know how they won the cup, man.
Yeah.
Don't know how. But they're playing rodeo, and Coach Orion comes in, man. He lays the law down. What are some of the things that this guy does?
Yeah, he's like, really knock the shit out, basically. All your duck moves are not going to work on this level, and they don't, right? Flying Vs, they're lassos, they're triple axles. They're fat out of shape goalies. It's just not going to fly this time. Interference that Fulton and Portman were just like notorious for. You can't go interference. They're going to call it, right? Unless you're varsity. So the biggest move he did was he ripped the C off of Charlie's chest. Very first move. And was it the right move?
Oh, yes. 100%.
Absolutely.
This is a new... Absolutely. This is a new team, new school. But he took the C. He wanted Charlie to have it, though.
Yeah. Oh,
He took it to say, you got to earn this.
Sure.
And Charlie, instead of responding to the adversity, he became a baby about it.
He went negative.
He's
He
like,
went the
that was
opposite
my
direction.
C. Like, that's the opposite of what you do with Coach Orion. Coach Orion wants you to take the C and be like, man, I got to get that back.
Yeah.
How am I going to get that?
And we know Charlie's a team player from the first two movies. Like, even in D2, he stepped outside so Keenan could have a spot.
Yeah.
He took the clipboard. Took the clipboard. Like, he's the ultimate team player.
And let me say that along that point, this movie was so out of character for salty Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie is not salty. Like, I could see someone else being salty. Like, I guess you can't make a movie about Jesse Hall. This is basically Jesse Hall's character.
Yeah.
Because he was like that in the first one. You know what I mean?
By the way, speaking of Jesse Hall, we didn't really mention him too much. He deserves a scholarship.
He should have.
He was like their second best player.
He was good.
Yeah.
He was really good.
Anyway.
They never said why he didn't get the school, but he was actually very good.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question about Charlie. He's like a baby this whole movie, right? Till the very, very end.
Yeah.
Did the movie want you to hate him, or were you supposed to root for him anyway?
So this brings me to an interesting point of view, right? So you asked me, how do I view this movie?
Yeah.
You look at it from a kid's perspective, and I feel like the kid doesn't understand, as an adult, as a 32-year-old man.
Yeah.
I'm standing here saying, man, Coach Orion, he's just trying to do the right thing, right?
Right.
The movie it has two purposes. I think it wants the adults to be like, man, how do I deal with a kid that's being basically a baby? And then the kid, you're going through the journey with Charlie of, man, this isn't fair. He's taking my C away. He's doing this. But then you learn the lesson with Charlie through the movie, and you realize Coach Orion's pretty much a baller. And
so
he's
maybe,
awesome.
I guess it depends on which eyes you see it from.
It's a perspective thing.
Because it's so obvious that Charlie's wrong, like every step of the way in this movie.
I don't remember how I viewed it when I was young.
Yeah.
Because I watched this, and I could not be more annoyed at this kid. And like, I was so annoyed the whole time, and I was like, God, you're so dumb.
Yeah.
You're so stupid.
Like, I guess as a younger person, you'd watch this movie and go, just let it be Ducks, man. They just want to be Ducks. They're teammates. But like, you watch this movie as an adult, you totally get it. Like, you get why they can't be Ducks. Like, you gotta grow up.
Is that your perspective when you watch this? Like, were you what side were you taking when you were watching it?
I was on a Coach Orion side the whole time of the fact that you just have to grow up. Like, yeah, Ducks brought you together, but you have to be more than that. You have to grow. You have to be willing to try new things and to take criticism and take coaching. Like, when you go on to when you're like a star player and you're maybe in middle school days or from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, like, most times you separate from your team, and the really good players move on to the higher levels, and maybe you stay down low and you play like club ball, whether it be baseball or hockey or basketball. And some just aren't good enough. After a while, you flame out and you just play personally on your own time. They're lucky enough to have their whole team be on this tremendous opportunity.
Yeah.
And most players get that within a couple of practices. But Charlie and Fulton just clearly didn't get it.
Well, they left the team because, I mean, and not to go complete love fest on Orion, he did some questionable things. Like, maybe his style, and here's my theory on that. Guy was an NHL player. We don't know how good he was, but I assume that he was pretty good because they made a big deal to say
Made it that far.
the guy was really good. He knew what he was doing. Hans, which we'll get to in a minute, even kind of said, like, this guy is really good. You can learn a lot from him. Same with Bombay, said the same thing to Charlie at some point. This dude went from, the professional levels where those type of bully tactics and tough coaching works because it's like you got to kind of do that. You know what I mean?
And I wouldn't even call it bullying. I would just call it just being real.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said bully, but he was being real. Like, you're right.
Like, he was firm, but
it's
very fair.
Real talk.
And the one practice, which this is like the greatest moment of the movie for me, is when he gave that speech about defense and about when life throws you something and you don't control the puck. And the puck was a representation for like life too. When you can't control life, you have to be firm and you have to be aggressive, but also step back a little bit and kind of analyze the situation. Like, that was a great speech. Like, whoever wrote that, I was very impressed.
I like to imagine that the actual actor Jeffrey Nordling is Coach Orion in real life, and he wrote his own speech.
So
but before you hold on a second, the thing that I wanted to say about him was, and just to that point, that was a turning point for me of where he got it. He got how to talk to these kids because during the movie he came at it really hard. He's like, I got to break these bad habits. Maybe he pushed a little too hard. You know, take these jerseys off. The Ducks are dead. That's a little extreme to say to some kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It needed to be said.
And maybe the movie viewer themselves are like, well, this guy really is kind of a hard ass. He's a little bit of a jerk. But when he made that speech, it was like, oh yeah, this guy is really looking out for them, right?
And it's weird, I guess, to go back to the point, knowing who Coach Orion is, if you saw this for the first time, maybe you would think, man, this guy is kind of mean, but then you see the scene of him being a good father. Then you see him giving these good speeches. And then it kind of turns the tide on, you know what, this guy's doing the right thing. But maybe thinking back to the first time I saw this, maybe I did think he was a jerk because it's like, like I said before, take the jerseys off. The Ducks are dead.
Yeah, he's just yelling at him the whole time.
It's
but
a little
really,
extreme.
it's all like justified. And maybe at the end of the episode, we can play his speech.
Yeah,
if you want to be inspired, because trust me, you'll be totally inspired.
We'll play it on the way out.
Yeah. So we talked about Charlie getting a C removed, and he has to earn it. What was the even maybe possibly bigger move than that should have been made in D2? It wasn't.
Dude, we alluded to this, but dude, Goldberg riding the pine, man.
Oh, man. Get him out of there.
That was the most just expert level coaching move. Any coach could have done that, though.
Yeah,
but
he
did it. This kid was like, I love how even in the JV, the pre-scrimmage, he just gets in net. And Julie the Cat's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, whatever. I don't see the coach here.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you are clearly terrible. He was the worst goalie ever.
Yeah.
Like, the worst goalie ever. I don't know how they ever won the Junior Goodwill games.
He's not flexible. He has horrible reaction time.
He doesn't eat well.
He's constantly getting stuck behind the net. How many times is that going to happen where he goes around the net?
Dude, I told you he's a Flyers fan. He's trying to be Ron Hextall, except he doesn't have the abilities of Ron Hextall.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And Coach Orion, first move he makes, it's like, dude, get on the bench.
He saw 5 seconds of Goldberg in goal, and he knew right away this guy was a chump.
You know how good this coach is?
Yeah.
He studied the tapes of them.
Yeah.
He even said it. Do you remember that? He was like, I looked at your tapes. You got a lot of gaps in your game. And he was telling them about where they need to play defense.
Sure.
He gave them the respect to say, look, you guys are good at offense, but you got to round out your game.
Yeah.
You've got to learn how to play two-way hockey.
At this level, man.
You cannot be playing flying Vs, triple axles, all this crap. You've got to coach it
when
up.
When the defenders move up with the flying V, you know how vulnerable that leaves your back end?
All
it's impossible.
Is one big dude like you saw. Team Iceland did it too.
Yeah.
It does not work.
No, man, it doesn't work. So he turns Goldberg into a defenseman, which is actually a good move. So at least he has some usefulness out of himself. He's a good skater, right?
He's a big dude too, and he's got the body.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where his weight actually helps him.
Yeah, he's not very fast, but as long as he hangs back, he doesn't come up too much on the rush. Like when he finally had a chance to shoot the puck in the big game, like he was like, he didn't know what to do because he was like, what do I do?
I've never
done
been
this
in
before.
this situation. Yeah.
So it's like as long as he hangs back a little bit, he could be a bigger brother, bash brother, if you will.
He could be a bigger brother bash. Bigger brother bash.
I said that
brother.
weird. I don't know. I said that weird.
Rubber buggy baby
Rubber
bumpers.
buggy bumpers.
That channeled my inner Schwarzenegger. But let's talk about the one game for a second. So, you think, okay, this guy's just a hard ass. Let's see the tricks work. They play this game. Charlie invites his new girlfriend to this game. They go up 9-0 with some flashy tricks.
Yeah.
Some flashy tricks.
Oh yeah. They do all the cowboy yeehawing.
I've got to say though, it's a little extreme for them to give up a 9-0 lead. Like, hey, come on now.
What did Orion say in the locker room after the game? How long does it take to score a goal?
Yeah, it's as
less
fast
than
as
a second. as he almost decapitated Charlie with a puck.
I was going to say, another reckless move there. A little reckless there.
That's one of those things where you throw something, and if it would have hit a kid, he'd be like, "Ooh, sorry, oh my god!" Like, ruined the mood.
Oops.
Completely ruined the mood.
But yeah, they blow the 9-0 lead. They learn that they've got to, maybe learn a little bit of defense there. And we already kind of talked about Charlie, but basically Orion's pushing these kids so hard that Charlie and Fulton both basically quit the team.
Yeah, and we touched at it briefly in other areas, but the last thing that he did, which would be considered a baller move, was just he just tore apart the Ducks. Like, the Ducks, you're a warrior now. Forget the Ducks. It was great, but you got to grow up. And you got to be a warrior now.
And that's what caused these guys to quit the team. And to basically build on that, it's like there's nothing against being the Ducks. It's in your past, right? Yeah. These guys have a good history. They were the Ducks, whatever. Now they're at a new school. They need to learn to grow up. And that was something that Bombay never taught them. This guy needs to he has to be a jerk because Bombay never was. Yeah. Bombay only was a jerk by dating the Team Iceland girlfriend or quitting the team because he didn't really care about them. That was Bombay's being a jerk. This he's really a softie. He loves the kids and he wants them to do well. He puts his own job on the line, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, he stands up for the kids. He's a good coach, man. But he has to bury the Ducks. They're dead.
All right. So I just thought of something here. It might be a stroke of genius here. It might not be. So the Ducks are like their alternate uniform, right?
Yes.
So like at every iteration, even in the first one, they were District 5.
Yeah.
The whole movie. And then they finally get these jerseys at the end. They're Ducks, right?
Mr. Ducksworth.
Off of Mr. Ducksworth, which, by the way,
total sellouts.
You talk about like history of team names, and like the Redskins, there's a whole controversy. They shouldn't be called Redskins.
Right.
It's a whole thing, right? And it's probably true, very much so, right? So the Ducks are like this memory of this former jerk boss of Bombay.
Yeah, shouldn't they change it?
Like, it has like a bad taste in their mouth. Why do they want to still be called the Ducks?
Yeah, shouldn't they change it?
Yeah. So, and then at D2, they were Team USA, and they busted out the Duck jerseys again. It's their alternate uniforms for Team USA, the alternate uniforms, right?
Did you have the moment too, by the way, in the movie where Charlie at the height of being basically like big man on campus, I'm this big shot freshman, walks in, he's trying to impress this girl. Yeah. And he's like, they named an NHL team after us. My exact reaction? I was like, oh, F you.
No.
Screw you, buddy.
Yeah,
like,
come on
get out of here.
Yeah, they didn't have that little cartoon character, as their jersey.
That was the ultimate moment where I was like, oh, get out of here.
And then in this one, in D3, at the big game, at the JV varsity game, they bust out the alternate uniforms again. It's like most teams, like, they have different colors. You wear black. You wear all powder blue or whatever. You're the Chargers. This team just busts out a completely different mascot as their alternate uniforms.
I'm telling you, I have a question for the end, and I'll save it to the end, but I want you to think about it now. Yeah. What's more controversial, changing the school's mascot, which has been around for 100 years, or changing Team USA to the Ducks? Think about that. We'll talk about it at the end.
Let me ask you this. So, say they go through 4 years of this high school, they're the greatest hockey team ever assembled. All 12 of them get athletic scholarships to join the Minnesota Gophers, right? Are they going to change the Gophers?
Yes.
Are they going to be the Ducks?
The precedent has been set.
What are they doing?
If they don't, they're going to boycott. We're not playing.
Oh, we're not a Gopher. We're a Duck.
And
freaking Gophers, it's a university.
And if they don't change it, they're going to get their hotshot lawyer in.
Oh, you guys, you want the Ducks to play for you? You better be Ducks.
I'll tie this up in an injunction. I'll tie this up in the court.
You, man. And then the whole team gets drafted to the New York Rangers. We're not Rangers anymore. We're Ducks. But we already have Ducks. They're in Anaheim. No, we're gonna have two Ducks. East Coast Ducks and the West Coast Ducks. Is that what's gonna happen? Like, what are we doing here?
I'm gonna tie this up in the court.
Bombay's gonna become commissioner of the NHL. That's what's gonna happen.
He's gonna sue them. He's gonna sue them just to become the commissioner.
Sue their asses. Gonna sue your asses off.
I'll tie this up for years in the court system. It's like such an idle.
It's gonna be
threat.
like Groundhog Day. Every step the way they go.
That's kind of a baller move too, though. Right? You got to admit it.
Like, where does it end? It's got to end here. If it doesn't end here with Orion, where does it end with the Ducks?
That's what I'm saying. So is Orion the most? Basically, you could argue that Orion is the most influential person in these kids' life.
Yeah.
He puts an end to this nepotism BS. Just listen, kids. You got to grow up. No more Hans. Hans is dead.
Hans is dead. All right, your old man's dead. He's in the
Ducks
ground.
are dead.
Rest in peace, but he's gone.
He's gone. No more.
I don't think he said that.
No more free hockey equipment from the hockey shop.
No more ketchup tricks.
You know what I mean? Get the hell out of here. So we went like 40 minutes without even talking about the varsity team, really.
Yeah.
So let's
Who cares?
let's jump into it. But basically, the varsity team hates the junior varsity team because of the scholarships, because of the kids. They got the rivalry. The whole point of the movie is really this exhibition game that doesn't even matter.
All right. So I have two things. I'm gonna take the varsity side here for a little bit. There's two things that
A little bit. I'm taking it a lot.
Yeah. So number one, inherently, the varsity hates the JV. It's they don't hate them, but it's like a little like you mess with them, right?
That's the whole the underclassmen thing.
You're freshmen. If you're a whole freshman team, you got to eat shit from varsity. That's what you do.
It sucks, but it's part of
what
the game.
happens.
It's part of
right?
growing up.
As long as there's no like crazy hazing going on,
Right?
It's like as long as you're not like doing what do they call it, the elephant walk?
Yeah,
what do they do? Google it.
We're not going to be doing that.
Google it.
I hope
if you don't know, Google it. Or they're not like hitting them with baseball bats. Like there's not like paddles or anything like that. It's like friendly haze. Oh, we put your clothes in the shower. Haha. Like that's like that kind of hazing. It's harmless, right? It's a harmless goof.
Yeah,
right?
of all the things, clothes in the shower. Yeah, it sucks, but
so that's like step one, right? It's a rivalry. But step two is they took possibly better players and kicked them out of the school to replace them with these Ducks.
For
like
a publicity stunt.
That's beef too. Like that's a second beef,
right?
Especially the captain's little brother. So like I understand why they're just taste towards the Ducks. I get it.
Yeah, and the Ducks, like I said, I get it. If they're better, that's one thing. And I get there's tons of nepotism in these private schools. I'm sure that brother's kid paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if he was truly better on a hockey level, he shouldn't have been denied a spot.
Sure.
They could have got rid of Goldberg for him.
And that's without saying these guys are total dicks. Like really they are. Like they're rich assholes. They're snobs.
They
we
really
get
are.
it. Like I understand that.
But go through the list. So there's a prank war. I mean, without getting too much into it, like there's a prank war, right? So they started by putting their clothes in the shower. How do the Ducks? So Charlie rolls up in this campus like he's hot shit. Yeah. Let's just be
all
real
of a sudden
about
he's
that.
Zach Morris and he's king of pranks, right?
Zach Morris.
It's like, since when did Charlie become a prank master?
That's what I'm saying. The movie's out of character for him, but he rolls up into this campus like big man on campus. Zach Morris, like you said, rolling up here like, oh yeah, I played for the hockey team. I'm on the JV team. Like nobody really brags about that, buddy. Like he's talking to this girl who doesn't know anything about hockey, so maybe she's impressed. Yeah, she's like, oh, you're on that team. Oh, you must be really good. Yeah. What? So how do they react? They start this prank war. There's a little bit of hazing. It's not so bad. It's close in the shower.
Close the shower after a game. It's like,
how did the JV team react?
So what do they like freeze?
Liquid nitrogen
on their Letterman jackets. Broke their Letterman jackets. That's like vandalism.
That's vandalism.
That's taking it too far.
Property destruction.
Yeah. They worked hard to earn those coats, right?
That guy, I mean, Abram was in school for 30 years before he was there. The guy who played Abram, that one guy, the blonde guy, was in school for 20 years.
So yeah, the one varsity player is Abe from Walking Dead. For others who watch Walking Dead, he's a very badass character. I looked it up. I first of all I saw him, I was like, that guy's like at least 25, right? I look it up. He was born in 1962, right? The movie was made in 1996.
Oh my god!
They got a 34-year-old to play a freaking senior in high school.
He's young at heart, man.
To be fair, he looked like a babyface.
He did. He shaved his mustache.
He could play young.
That's like up there with. I know a lot of times that happens. Like you mentioned, Zach Morris. Those guys were all in their 20s playing 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
but that's like. That might be the most extreme example of somebody playing below their age. Breckin Meyer, he's always playing a teenager.
Yeah, he still could play a teenager. But the head
he's like
dick,
52.
Head dick, was it Rick Riley?
Yeah, Rick Riley.
I was like, he's at least 25, at least.
That's what I mean. Like these guys were so.
Well, I guess you could say the same for Iceland, Team Iceland, and D2. Those guys.
Speaking of which,
sure,
Gunnar Stahl, number whatever the guy was from Team Iceland, plays another guy in this movie. That's like the mark of a direct-to-video movie.
No, it's like I guess there's only so many child actors or quote-unquote child actors that can skate. So
he was the goalie in this.
You got to recycle.
He had a mask on the whole time.
So they froze their clothes. JV responds with what? They take him out to dinner and stick him with the bill.
How much was that bill?
Top level prank.
Did you see what they were ordering? They were ordering like lobsters and like
a whole
steak,
and a whole cake, and they had steak and all that. And they said that the receipt was like $8.57.
That's way too low.
It's way low, but maybe in '96 that was the cost. It was lower.
Yeah, what's
lower
the
prices. I don't know.
inflation?
They weren't buying any alcohol, so that like cuts down to the price.
Or were they?
Yeah, or were they?
That guy was like 30.
This wasn't Varsity Blues. All right.
Yeah.
They don't get that level of respect at West Canaan.
Yeah.
So,
this is a prep school. They didn't go to a strip club.
So then JV responds with ants in the beds, which is kind of a stupid prank. That seems like a total Aberman prank.
Yeah, that was definitely Averman. He totally came up with that one.
And that basically ended it, which caused like the grudge match, which set up the pre-scrimmage where the Ducks got their asses kicked pretty much.
Look, if they had listened to Coach Orion, he said, don't talk to the varsity kids. Don't give them a mental edge. This guy's full of life lessons, man.
What happened?
They got their ass
the mental
kicked.
edge.
They got their ass kicked. And let me just go on the record of saying this. These guys are like 40, 50 pounds heavier than these dudes. And I think Paul Correa even says it. Like he said, do you remember when he's at the game with that really like dweebish kid?
Yeah.
He's like, doesn't matter how big you are in hockey, like as long as you're fast and you can play, like, you know, that's like the pep talk to people, and I get it, but these kids were getting like
not
murdered.
Not entirely true, especially in a physical game like hockey.
So we mentioned earlier they tied that one game 9-9. They blew the lead or whatever. That led game. The worst dean of all time, to basically say, hey, we're going to revoke your scholarship. So that took a little bit in the movie. So it brings us to this scene where, you know, basically Coach Orion's like, fine, if it's either, you know, you keep them here or I quit. And they're like, fine, it's been nice knowing you. See you later. See you later. They get rid of this coach right away. It's like, I guess it's the JV team, so what do they care? They'll get another coach. But they said, don't worry, we're going to fight this. I'm going to get you.
We know somebody.
Who do they know, Badway? Who do they know?
What hotshot lawyer do they know? Who still has his what is it, the bar? Still
has the bar.
He has a bar.
He has a bar.
I don't know, lawyer talk. Who knows?
Yeah. Is he legally allowed to practice law right now?
I'm sure he is. It's only been a year or so since he last practiced.
Was it though? I don't know. What did he
do? The junior Goodwill games was only 2 or 3 weeks long. So
yeah,
D2 was a couple. You know, then they had the summer.
But didn't Ducksworth like basically fire him?
Well, yeah, but he could go into business for himself. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a small community of lawyers here in Minnesota.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like we'll make sure you never work again.
He could be one of those guys. He could be like a Saul Goodman type. He could have his own store. Who knows?
He's gonna be working out of a nail salon.
His own shop. Who knows? Right. So they get Bombay to pretty much stop and smash his hand on the ground and say, "No, you can't do this."
He comes in pretty baller move too himself.
He was pretty impressive. I got to give him credit.
Pretty
impressive.
Yeah, but it was like they were fighting it, and they're like, "Nope, the board votes." You know, I got the impression that the board didn't give a shit.
No, they didn't care one way or the other.
They're just like, "Okay, this is another motion on a long meeting that they want to be done with."
Here's the board meeting, the deleted scene that they didn't show. The dean rolls up to that board meeting and goes, "Listen, I know you guys don't care. We've been here for 4 hours talking about other stuff. There's the last item on the docket. I know you guys want to go for lunch, but we got this JV hockey team. I know, big deal, right? So we made a mistake. We gave all these kids scholarships. They're not very good. So we just want to revoke them. So all in favor, say aye." And then they got the vote.
We made a mistake.
I got to vote aye. All right, let's go to Morton's. You know, like they got like that was that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So then Bombay busts in and says, "You reverse this shit. I'm going to tie you up in court for years.
I'm gonna slap an injunction on you."
And the board's like, who cares? We don't have time for this.
Whatever.
Fine, let them have it. Let them play.
They act like they won, like, you know, they act like they acquitted O.J. Simpson of murder.
Yeah, right?
It's like, oh my God. It's like the greatest overturning of something ever. I mean, it was kind of shitty on the school to take their scholarships away to begin with, but, you know, did he really? It was an empty threat. They're probably like, we don't feel like dealing with this guy.
Bombay had no intention of tying it up in court. It was a bluff, and they did not call him on his bluff because they didn't care.
Well, didn't you say to me before when we were watching this, you said, wouldn't the school have checked with their lawyers whether they could do this or not?
I feel like they definitely would have crossed their T's and dotted their I's.
Unless the dean, you know, the worst dean ever, was like, I checked with legal on this.
It was all willy-nilly, yeah.
I checked with legal. We're allowed
lied
to do
him.
it.
Yeah, he thought they'd just roll over and die.
Good.
Yeah.
This guy needs to lose his job, you know?
Right.
We talk about benching Goldberg. This guy should get benched. Can you get this guy out of here? You know, promote that other guy, the faculty guy that wanted the other team.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably a better dean.
So long story short, this stupid subplot about them losing their scholarships after one game, it like came and went like nothing.
Congratulations on destroying our school. That's what the one guy says. It was like
Brutal.
what is he saying? Congratulations on destroying our school.
And then he called their team a little affirmative action project.
That's pretty messed up.
It's pretty messed up.
Kind of messed up.
And he also dropped a white trash on him too after the one prank.
A little racist. So maybe, I mean, we never said these guys were nice guys.
Yeah, right.
They're not really.
Oh, they're total
nice
jerks,
people
of course.
either.
They're rich snobs, but so before we move on for Bombay, I have a theory. Now, our D1 and Ducks 1, our first episode ever, you had a very, very famous theory that like blew my mind at the time.
Earth-shattering.
You said it. Where you surmised that Hans is really dead and he's a figment of their imagination.
It held up
Right?
until this movie.
Yeah, which
because
it
in
did.
2 he was on a vacation in
right.
Germany or wherever.
Yeah, what happened to his cousin or brother or whatever? Anyway,
Yeah, Jan.
Jan, Jan and Hans.
That was his name.
Yeah, but anyway, so that theory that Hans is really dead, like that was a great theory. But I have a theory as well, and this might shatter that theory.
Hit me with it.
So after Charlie quits school, Bombay comes back. He's in his bedroom.
Yeah.
And he flips him up off his bench and said, get up. I'm going to show you this something. I'm going to show you the world. Right? I'm going to show you you're screwing up. I want to show you why. Takes him into the gym to show the famous scene where Orion is skating with his paralyzed daughter, right? Bombay drops the knowledge on Charlie that his daughter had lost the use of her legs in a car accident. She was sideswiped. A car accident 5 years ago.
I see where you're going.
Let's cycle back 5 years to when Gordon Bombay was an alcoholic, shitty person, lawyer, drinking with beer bottles, chugging beer bottles, right? It was about 5 years ago.
While driving.
What are the chances that Bombay caused this accident, was the other driver, hit and run, caused his daughter to become paralyzed?
Dude, I don't even have a sound effect to play for how my brain just exploded right now.
It's pretty clear that it happened, right? This is it.
It lines up.
Yeah. Right?
It lines up perfectly, doesn't it?
And Orion doesn't know that Bombay did it, right? And it's killing Bombay. Can't even face him.
That would explain why he didn't shake his hand at the end of the court.
He snubbed him in the court, right?
Yeah, he did.
Bombay snubbed him, not because he was disrespectful, but because he couldn't bear to look him in the eyes.
Dude, you just...
Right? And I'll tell you what, coaching the JV hockey team at that prep school was probably a sweet and high-paying gig.
Yeah.
Why did he turn it down?
He felt guilty about taking the job.
Exactly. He felt guilty of taking Orion's job because he has this paralyzed daughter. Which we don't know, he may be single father.
He might.
He needs that income, right?
Dude.
He quit his NHL career. He needs that income, right? Bombay caused that accident,
It
right?
lines up so perfectly. Wasn't he? He was drunk driving in the snow.
Yes.
Like in a limousine, wasn't it?
It might not have been that night that he got busted, but it was right around that time
What was his license plate? Like Lawyer Up or something?
Lawyer Up.
Do you think they have that on the Golden Closet?
Actually, I want to see if I can get that vanity plate.
Lawyer Up?
Yeah.
No, isn't that Saul Goodman's? I don't know.
It might be.
What was Bombay's? It was something
had
else.
something about winning.
Oh,
or
it was
something.
Just Win or something.
Win
Keep
like
winning.
that, yeah.
Yeah, Lawyer Up is Saul Goodman's.
Yeah, Lawyer Up is Saul Goodman.
Oops.
They're like the same person.
No, but yeah, I think you make a lot of sense here.
Right?
The girl was hurt. We don't know who sideswiped him. He was drunk driving in the snow in Minnesota.
Yeah, he's a drunk driving all over Minnesota.
It was a limo. It was like a freaking Corvette or something.
Yeah. When he got busted, it was rock bottom. But he's clearly the action has been going on for years. Or
He's
at least,
a lawyer, right?
At least that year.
Ducksworth got him out of going to jail.
Yes,
because we know that
of course.
he's part of this high profile, hotshot lawyer agency.
Instead of jail, he got coaching hockey.
Yeah, he had to coach these punk kids.
Yeah.
We know that was definitely an easy sentence for him.
So that's why it really pains Bombay to see Charlie acting like a dick towards Orion because he knows the guy doesn't deserve it.
Dude,
I screwed his life up.
You blew it open. You blew it open.
That's what
right
happened,
now.
right? I mean, clearly.
I thought
let us know if you agree.
I thought you were going to tell me Bombay was a ghost. Yeah. I thought you were going to, which he could have been.
Well, yes. That's my other theory is that, yes, we were actually texting this back and forth while we were watching the movie at different times.
I thought you were going with the ghost theory.
No. But yeah, aside from the lawyer section, Bombay shows up to Charlie like a ghost. Like he's watching him in the stands. during the big game. He's taking him like the ghost of Christmas present, showing him all the things that he screwed up in his life.
He sets his alarm.
Yeah, right.
Like the ghost wakes up. He's at the edge of his bed. Hello, Charlie.
He has the conversation with Charlie at the beginning of the movie, and Charlie's mad, and Bombay's like, listen, I can't. I just can't. I can't be your coach. There's a reason why you can't be a coach. I'm a ghost.
He was at the funeral, but nobody really talked to him. You know?
And before the opening and closing credits, they showed these like awkward montages of Bombay. Like it's like
he died.
It looks like they were you Googleizing him, as Derek Zoolander would say.
Yeah, but the only other scene was they were playing hockey with him, street hockey.
Yeah, that's the other scene. Yeah,
he actually touched them. They carried him up, but maybe Charlie was reminiscing.
Could have been.
It was in his head.
Could have been.
It was all. I thought you were going the ghost route there.
No. I'm going the drunk driver ruined Orion's life.
I think you really blew the lid open on this one. So yeah, let me go back to the movie here. Let's talk about the big game for a second.
So the final scene, the big game.
The big game, it's basically, JV versus varsity. Before the game, they make a wager. Hey, if we win, the Warriors are gone. The Ducks will fly.
The Ducks will fly.
What does that even mean? We find out it's like, hey, we're going to change this 100-year-old mascot to the Ducks because we got to get our way one last time.
Yeah. So it's not clear whether or not like it's going to be a permanent change or if it's just like a one night only with a banner and all that stuff that Bombay sprung for with his high price salary.
He had the girlfriend trying to get rid of the Warriors because she thought it was racist.
Yeah.
And Charlie tried to justify it by saying even more racist names like the Redskins. It's so bad.
But it is a loophole. Like if they change the name because they think it's insensitive, which I'm not sure Warriors is totally insensitive.
It doesn't have to be. They could change the picture to be something else. It doesn't have to be Native American.
It could be a Viking warrior.
Right.
It could be anything.
It could be the King of the North warrior.
Yeah, sure. Anything. There are a lot of warriors out there that aren't Native American. But it does have a connotation based on, obviously they have the Native American with a headdress. Like that's the logo, right? But anyways, well, I still believe they were changing it just for one night only.
Okay.
Oh, and who do they have? They got a teammate back. They got Banksy.
Yeah, they did. They got him. And then midway through the game, they get Portman.
Yeah. So the varsity just gives Banks back to him. Say, here, take him. We don't want him.
Do you think that was because he got kicked out of the school with the injunction?
Because he was part of the injunction and part of the lawsuit and all that. They were getting rid of him. They were like, here, take Banks back. Because he was about to be expelled too because he was part of the deal.
But I also feel like, and maybe this is going back too far, but I felt like Orion accepted Charlie back onto the team a little too easily.
Yeah.
There. Come on, coach. But I guess he knew he was like, not to be so Philly here, but he was like Nelson Aguilar levels of like broken. Like we can't break this guy's spirit. Like,
he's a fragile mind. Yeah.
You gotta let him on the team, even if we make him play fourth line or something. Like he'll do anything for
Plus,
me.
I'm sure Orion heard because his wife died in that accident, right?
Right.
Charlie has a pretty eligible and hot single mom
he
situation going on.
From
that's Bombay dropped him the tip. Say, listen, this Charlie guy's a little bit of an asshole, but
you might want to be nice to him. His
mom is pretty single.
You might want to be nice to him.
Yeah, so you might want to be nice.
No, but the other thing that I thought too was a little out of character for Coach Orion. He swung the pendulum a little too far the other way. He's like, hey guys, I got you these Ducks jerseys. You might want to wear them. Hey, by the way, let's do a pregame speech. No more team 1, 2, 3. Quack, quack, quack. I know why he did it.
Why?
Because he needed to up their player rating by like 5 points. Like if you're thinking about Madden, you're thinking about NHL, like each guy has like an overall rating.
Yeah.
If you want to basically give these guys some legal steroids, the only way that you can get them amped up is to give them a Ducks jersey. It amplifies their abilities.
Yeah, it's like a +5 in an RPG or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they built them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Little did they know they're going to be the Warriors again after this.
Yeah.
In his mind,
he's
going to take the.
It should only be one game. It's an outrage.
Agreed.
If the school changed the Ducks.
Totally agree. Because it was an exhibition scrimmage.
Yeah.
He gave him this jersey. He gave him the Ducks chant. Taught these guys how to play some defense, man.
Yeah, man.
They coached him up.
1-0, man. Hunting goose eggs, right?
If you want to you got practice tomorrow, 5 a.m. You got to get up early if you want to hunt goose eggs. This is life lessons, man. This is Eric Taylor level of life lessons.
Is it possible that he's the greatest like youth coach in the history of fictional movies and TV?
Of a guy that we've only seen, really like maybe 60 minutes of? Absolutely.
Yeah, right? I mean, he's up there with Taylor, I think. Coach Taylor.
Taylor is good, but think about, he took this team, right? They were one trick pony. They were, very, very baby-like. They were baby their whole life.
Yep.
And in 2 games, he turned them around?
Yeah.
That's a miracle.
It's because he demanded the respect and they took to it.
That's a miracle, man. And I'm surprised nobody else quit that team. But he owned them, man.
Because Charlie was the cancer in the locker room. And they removed the cancer, right?
You have to.
Or it removed itself. And then he came back and he was stronger. And he was stronger for it. The body was stronger for it. Because Charlie came back and it really completed the circle. Got Dean in there, check some dudes.
So who do you think, is there a better coach you can think of? Because I can't.
Other
than
think of
Taylor.
Yeah,
Coach Taylor.
Coach Taylor is probably the only other one, but we got to see like 5-6 seasons worth of him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and we've done a lot of coaches on the show. We've done, Coach Gene Hackman from The Replacements.
No, that's different. It's pro level, pro versus youth.
I mean, there's other coaches that we've done. The O'Shea brothers.
O'Shea brothers for sure.
Little Giants we did.
Definitely overshadowed
episodes.
the O'Shea brothers, no doubt about it.
I mean, what was the lowest O'Shea? The Danny O'Shea?
Danny O'Shea.
He wasn't really a good coach. He was kind of Bombay levels of coaching. Like
he didn't really know anything about football.
They won one game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One time.
Kevin O'Shea was really the brains of the family, but I gotta go with Coach Orion here, man.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely the best coach. They win this game 1-0 on the defense, and now they're gonna change the school's mascot. How do you feel about this, man?
It's an outrage. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna change it, but if they do, it's an outrage. It should be one night only. It's like the uniforms. It's like the Eagles black jerseys. You bust them out, but it's not the full jersey.
I asked you this earlier. What's worse, changing Team USA for the championship gold medal game? We're talking about national pride.
Yeah.
Or changing a school that has a storied history as Eden Hall Academy.
Oh, it's Team USA, right?
Yeah, I mean that would be all over the news.
Team
thinks they're above the country.
Yeah. Like nobody knows about Eden Hall except for
Minnesotans.
Northern Minnesota or whatever the hell it is. Team USA, like it's like a country pride.
Could you imagine how many alumni would stop their donations to this school though out of changing this?
It would be an outrage to say the least.
Where they should have taken it, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Yeah.
They should have had Charlie's girlfriend say, "Hey, I have a petition. We're gonna change it because it's insensitive."
Yeah.
Here, what's a vote? She got the school to be the Ducks because the game won.
They should all act like they care.
Let's have a little bit of an after the credits thing.
Oh yeah.
Tie the loose ends together.
But it's like I said before. Where does it stop? If you don't stop it now, where does it stop? And all of a sudden, there's a hockey team in New York that's also called the Ducks.
So, how do you think this movie did critically?
Probably pretty terribly.
I can tell you, right?
Yeah.
So, I got a quote here. So, this is from the Disney Wikia, because there's a wiki for everything, but it says, like its predecessor, the film received negative reviews and holds a blank, blank, blank on a site that Badway won't let me talk about. A 3.8.
If I edited this episode, I swear to God, I would just delete it. Sure.
It's they earned very low reviews. Basically, they averaged 3.8 out of 10 on most reviews. So you can imagine where that is. John Anderson of the LA Times calls this film a self-reverential salute to ducks, while saying that the film was lazier than its predecessors. Steve Hedgepeth of the New York Star Ledger wrote, "Somebody put this stupid Disney franchise in a deep freeze."
Do you think Steve Hedgepeth is dead?
It might be 96.
Like, you talk about this guy and write a review. We don't know him. He could have been like 70 at the time. He might be dead now.
I don't know. We got to look him up. But I'm surprised they didn't make a fourth one, direct to video, No,
I'm not surprised.
I mean, Emilio
it's hard to go
Estevez.
4. 3 is like where you go. Like, that's it.
I guess you complete the trilogy.
Yes, the trilogy. Now it's unlimited. When you make a movie.
We're coming full circle because you asked me in the beginning, what do I think? I don't think this movie was that bad. I still enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I don't think I'm glad I don't own it. I don't buy it. But if I needed to watch it again, I could rent it.
It's on ABC Family. You might watch it.
Yeah, like I'll watch it, but I'm not going to go out and buy this movie.
If your kid shows an interest in the first one, you can watch the other ones. But myself, I don't see myself watching this one anymore. Like, even if it's on ABC Family, like I might stop for a minute and be like, all right, what else is on?
But you're just going to watch Coach Orion's speech.
If D2 is on, I might stay for D2,
D2, I mean, you got Iceland. You got the slick back Gordon Bombay hair. That's full villain. That's his true self, man.
And Ducks 1, I might stay for Coach Riley. At least I have Coach Riley, right? I don't know if Orion's bringing me back.
So that's enough. I can't believe we did 50 episodes, man.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? It took us a long time, but we made it.
Hopefully people are still listening to this episode.
We had a break. I want to give a shout out to our friend Ty. Thank you so much for including us in your newsletter for Solid Verbal. If you're listening to this show because of that, thank you so much for listening. If you haven't had the chance, leave us an iTunes review if you're enjoying the show. Go to iTunes, search for The Last Row Podcast. We'll read them out on the show to say thank you. If you're looking for our website, thelastrowpodcast.com. We are on Twitter at The Last Row Pod. We're on Facebook. Look us up. Google+. Google Play. We're on everywhere. We got Instagram, Snapchat, MySpace, Friendster, whatever else, Napster. But yeah, thank you, Badway, for doing the show for 50 episodes, man. I feel like this is a little bit of a celebration. Sorry that we took so long to put this out.
Yeah, let's get 50 more going, and
Well, they'll take us another 3 years.
Well, maybe by the 100th episode there'll be another Ducks movie. Who knows?
The Mighty Ducks 4. Netflix should pick it up, man.
Right?
So anyway, let's leave everybody with the inspirational words of my favorite coach, Coach Ted Orion.
And don't forget your tissues.
What's the one thing all great teams have in common?
Great coaching.
Don't try to suck up to me, Averman. Defense. See, unlike scoring, defense never quits. But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence. Listen, if you learn nothing else when you're here, you learn this. All right? Because it's not just about hockey. It's easy to be confident when you have control of the puck. It's very, very difficult to keep that confidence when you got to take whatever strange bounces life throws your way. Don't be careless, but don't be too careful either. You cannot be afraid to lose. That's how you gain the confidence to attack the game when the puck isn't yours. That's how you attack life, even when you think you don't have any control. And that's how you play real defense.